I'm Nathan Cones here with your midday news for this Wednesday, August 26th, 2026. Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds has ordered flags in Iowa to half-staff in honor of musician, actress, and philanthropist Dolly Parton following her death yesterday at the age of 80. Flags are to be lowered effective immediately through Tuesday, September 1st to coincide with a proclamation from President Donald Trump. Reynolds says Dolly Parton was so much more than an iconic entertainer. She was a trailblazer, philanthropist, advocate, and a genuine inspiration who was loved worldwide. Her success will long be measured by the impact she made in the lives of others. My prayers are with her, family, and friends. So flags will be flown at half-staff on the state capitol building and on flag displays in the Capitol complex. Flags will also be at half-staff on all public buildings, grounds, and facilities throughout the state. Individuals, businesses, schools, municipalities, and counties, as well as other government subdivisions, are encouraged to fly their flags at half-staff for the same length of time as a sign of respect. The Carroll City Council unanimously approved the first reading of an ordinance amendment on Monday in the hopes to better regulate e-bikes and other similar mobility devices that have snowballed in popularity in recent years. Carroll Police Chief Brad Burke says the amendment simply adds these devices to the city's existing bike ordinance.
Our current ordinance, Chapter 76, deals with bicycles, and the ordinance that I brought in front of you incorporates the e-bike definition along with the other definitions that you saw in there to help regulate some of these too. It is not as strict as you're seeing in some of the other communities that are out there. It's also, I think, matches the state code better, which would be more defendable in court, I think, if it ever got to that point.
Under current code, bicycles are subject to many of the same regulations as any other motor vehicle when traveling on city streets, including speed limits, stop requirements, signaling turns, etc. The amendment covers nearly all of the most used devices that are powered in some way by an electric motor. It also categorizes these devices into classes. Class 1 devices are powered partially by pedaling and top out at 20 miles per hour. Class 2 devices can be self-propelled and are limited to 20 miles per hour, while Class 3 devices require pedaling but are capped at 28 miles per hour. Ward 4 Councilwoman Carolyn Seaman notes Iowa law has additional restrictions for Class 3 devices.
Class 3 low-speed electric bicycle should not be operated unless it is equipped with a speedometer that displays its speed in miles per hour. I know when I used to do a lot of biking, most people did have a speedometer. I always liked that, and I think it is a good safety feature. Then number 6, under this same code, 321, a person under the age of 16 shall not operate a Class 3 low-speed electric bicycle. A person under the age of 16 may ride as a passenger on a Class 3 low-speed electric bicycle in compliance with another section of the code. And I would really recommend that those would be worth integrating into your ordinance, and especially going over to your ordinance, responsible riding. I thought they fit pretty well with that.
Ordinance amendments take 3 readings to approve, or just 2 if the council opts to waive that third reading. Burke says one of their biggest challenges, assuming the ordinance is adopted, will be deciding how to enforce it.
Our biggest goal is for education. It's going to be very tough to issue a citation to a 10-year-old, and so that maybe needs some clarification too on how we want to handle enforcement of that. I know other cities have done different things, but even if we have a stop with someone, we want to make sure we're letting the parents know what's going on and that they're aware, which I think we would plan on doing anyway with these situations. The biggest thing is definitely get the education to the parents and the public, and it's not just kids either. There is adults who also violate.
Fines for violations are $105 per incident, and when court costs and surcharges are factored in, tickets can cost nearly $200. Considering how widespread e-bike use has become and the number of complaints the city has received regarding them, officials encourage the public to review the proposed amendment and provide their thoughts and opinions. The ordinance amendment's second reading is slated for the council's September 14th meeting. A link to the ordinance language and details on how to provide feedback is included with this story on our website. The Iowa Renewable Fuels Association is urging the Trump administration to reject reports that the Environmental Protection Agency may greatly expand refinery exemptions from federal biofuel blending requirements. The state's leading biofuels advocacy organization says rumors out of the nation's capital and in the industry suggest the EPA may exempt 1.8 billion gallons from the renewable fuel standard, nearly double the 1 million gallons forecast by the agency in March. The exemptions will allow qualifying small refineries to avoid some renewable fuel blending obligations, which directly impacts demand for Iowa's agricultural sector. IRFA Executive Director Monty Shaw says President Trump rightly garnered much praise in March by finalizing the most robust RFS blending levels in history. To reverse course now by granting massive levels of unjustified refinery exemptions would be bad policy, bad economics, and bad for farmers. Since the administration's commitment renewed to biofuels in the spring, biofuel production in Iowa has soared, and Shaw says reversing course would undo the industry's gains of the last half year. And we are going to be taking a quick break here, folks. Stick around. More news. It's right after this on KCIM.
Backpacks are packed, practices are starting, and suddenly the family calendar is full again. When back-to-school routines leave little time for dinner, let A&W of Jefferson make one thing easy. Order ahead with the A&W app. Swing by and pick it up, and dinner is handled. Burgers, chicken, fries, cheese curds, and of course, an ice-cold A&W root beer. Perfect for the drive home, between activities, or those nights when cooking just isn't happening. Make your busy school nights a little easier with A&W of Jefferson.
ATV safety saves lives. That's why Lens Insurance and Grinnell Mutual encourage you to drive safely. That way, we can all stay healthy and be here for what matters. To find important ATV safety information, visit grinnellmutual.com. Your smart choices today can help you trust in tomorrow. Contact Lens Insurance, your local Grinnell Mutual agent at 792-1700 today for all your insurance needs.
Trust in Tomorrow is a registered trademark of Grinnell Mutual Reinsurance Company, SI.
Welcome back to KCIM's Midday News. I'm Nathan Cones reporting. Farmers in 26 counties, including Audubon, Carroll, Greene, Guthrie, Sac, and Calhoun counties, can now enroll in an expanded free nitrogen soil sampling project intended to improve fertilizer decisions and water quality. The Iowa Department of Agriculture and Land Stewardship and the Iowa Nutrient Research and Education Council announced this week that they are doubling the project's fall capacity after the program, which was launched in April, filled quickly. It now includes all 22 counties in the Greater Des Moines watershed and 4 counties in the Middle Cedar watershed. The 3-year program looks to collect samples from 250 fields this fall. A third-party laboratory, SoilView, will conduct the sampling and laboratory testing, while Iowa State University researchers will use the anonymously collected data to fine-tune the state's fertilizer rate recommendations. Iowa Secretary of Agriculture Mike Negg says one soil sample represents a snapshot in time, and this multi-year nitrogen soil sampling project is designed to help farmers track patterns and better understand how weather and growing season variability affects the residual nitrogen levels in their soils. The information should help farmers lower fertilizer costs while maintaining crop yields and reducing nitrogen losses to waterways. Participating farmers must provide information on fertilizer management, crop rotation, cover crops, and manure use, and complete a post-harvest survey. Details on how to enroll are included with this story on our website. Iowa Attorney General Brenna Bird announced a proposed $17 billion multi-state settlement with Meta Platforms Incorporated that she says would require major child safety changes on Facebook and Instagram, as well as deliver up to $136 million to Iowans. The agreement would resolve Iowa's April lawsuit alleging Meta violated consumer protection laws by harming children and misrepresenting Instagram's safety. Iowa would receive $126.5 million over 10 installments, plus $9.2 million under a related settlement over the sharing of non-public Facebook user information. Meta would be required to impose a combined 2-hour daily limit for children using Facebook and Instagram, including pauses after 15, 60, and 90 minutes of continuous use. The terms also call for overnight access blocks for kids from midnight to 6 a.m., no weekday school time push notifications, stronger age verification, and expanded parental controls. Bird says after today's win, Iowa children will feel safer online. Iowa did sue Meta in April, alleging its platforms were designed to be addictive and unsafe for youth. Of note, other provisions would limit beauty filters and visible light counts for young users, while also requiring safeguards related to bullying, eating disorders, suicide, and self-harm. Independent auditors and participating states would be in charge of assessing compliance following that settlement. Republican gubernatorial nominee Zach Lane held a public forum Tuesday down in Audubon where he discussed issues ranging from debates with Democratic gubernatorial candidate Rob Sand, ranging from education reform, cancer rates, and data centers as well. Following an introduction from a moderator and opening statements from Lane, he did take questions from the approximately 50-person crowd inside the Audubon Rec Center. That meeting, the town hall, I should say, held at noon yesterday. One topic Lane spoke on was education savings accounts, as well as promoting innovation in public schools.
As a superintendent in North Central, Iowa said to me, he said, look, I'm not worried about the education savings accounts. The issue is these private schools are free to innovate, and I'm not. I just want to be unburdened so I can meet the needs of the students better, try more innovative models. And this is what I would like to do exactly. Not because he said it. I was actually talking about this with him. And he confirmed this, that, look, if we could create more school choice within our public schools, to have alternative models that serve young students better, that we will find the opportunity for kids to find what they're truly gifted at.
Lane also discussed promoting retention in Iowa's public post-secondary institutions, arguing that increased retention at the colleges and universities results in increased retention in the workforce.
University funding should be tied to the percentage of Iowans that actually go to your school. It's another novel idea, saying that our universities were set up to serve our kids. Not that out-of-state kids aren't welcome. We get that. But the very first thing is that Iowa kids have first say at those positions. And why? Really, it's a retention program to me. If they go to school, if they're accepted into a good school in Iowa, they're more likely to come back to the community or to stay in the state of Iowa.
During the forum, Lane called for incentives for Iowa-based businesses over out-of-state corporations.
Right now, the Iowa Economic Development Authority is probably one of the largest arms to incentivize, largest levers to pull to incentivize business to come to our state. Well, for a very long time, they've been incentivizing out-of-state companies that are actually competing against Iowa's homegrown companies. John Deere's received $100 million refundable tax credits paid for by you all over the past 20 years. We probably owe them $40 million cash right now. At the same time, they're competing against Kinsey Manufacturing, which is an Iowa homegrown business that's not getting these same incentives. My thought is very, simple, maybe novel. Iowa's homegrown businesses first. We need to be investing in our businesses first to help them grow and them compete and them to become the next global player.
Lane and Sand will face off in the general election for Iowa governor, and that'll be held Tuesday, November 3rd. And that is going to be wrapping up your Look at News here on KCIM for this Wednesday, August 26th, 2026. I'm Nathan Cones reporting.